welcome. I'm Jade of Jaded Reader, and today I'm going over my most anticipated reads for this fall. So if I'm being perfectly honest, some of these books do drop a little before the actual beginning of fall. Since the equinox is on September 23rd, I believe, this year, I did include some that were a little earlier in September. I am fully aware that that's not technically fall here in the Northern Hemisphere. However, it's my channel and I can do as I please. So I'm going ahead and I'm adding some from earlier in September. I am also going to be putting these anticipated reads in order by release date. I was going to put them from least anticipated to most anticipated, but I honestly couldn't choose. There's so many that actually make me like feverishly excited that I needed to just dive right in. So first up on my list is Stormrise by Gillian Boehm. Stormrise is Gillian's debut novel. The first thing I heard about it was that if you like Tamara Pierce, you would like this book. I am a huge Tamara Pierce fan. I don't know if you can see them all, but these are all Tamara Pierce books on this shelf. I very much so adore her and her writing and her stories. That piqued my interest, and then once I finally found out the synopsis for this book, I totally understood why. This follows our main character, Rain, who is in a war-torn kingdom. Although she's always excelled in fighting, she is not allowed to join the military as she is female. So using some sort of dragon powder, she goes ahead and disguises herself as a male, knowing that, of course, as the trope goes, if she's found out, then they will definitely be executing her. Now, a fun surprise I did find out about this book is that it has dragons involved. As you know, I'm very much so into dragons and draconic lore. I'm excited to see what this dragon is because all I could tell from the synopsis is that her kingdom used to be protected by a dragon, and that's no longer the case. I'm really interested to see how this plays out, and I think it would be interesting if the dragon wasn't an antagonistic dragon, but maybe something that brings peace to Rain's people. And Stormrise is my first anticipated read, coming out on September 10th. Also coming out on September 10th is Tiger Queen by Annie Sullivan. So Tiger Queen sounds absolutely fantastic. It follows Kateri, who is a desert princess in a very fierce and brutal kingdom. In order to earn her right to rule, she must battle in an arena, and I'm guessing in this arena she's battling a tiger since it is called Tiger Queen. Another hint that leads me to believe that is this is actually a story based off of the famous short story The Lady or the Tiger. I actually absolutely adore that short story, so that makes it even more compelling to pick up this fall. Then on September 17th, we have the Tea Dragon Festival. If you have not read the Tea Dragon Society, you are in for a treat. The Tea Dragon Society has these two little girls who learn how to take care of tea dragons. Tea dragons are, of course, regular dragons that make tea. They have little tea leaves that grow out of their horns. They're very temperamental, and the two friends bond while learning how to take care of these tea dragons. Our characters have gotten older, they've grown up, they've learned how to take care of tea dragons. However, an actual real dragon is a different story, and somehow or another they stumble across a dragon, and that's how much I know so far. The Tea Dragon Society is one of my absolute favorite books. It's wonderful and adorable. It just makes you feel happy. I have yet to find someone who's like, this book sucks. If you're looking for a light, happy read to lift your mood with plenty of diversity and love, then the Tea Dragon Society is a sure bet, and you can read it in preparation for the Tea Dragon Festival. Moving away from both September and more lighthearted reads, I am super stoked and very nervous to read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I am a huge Leigh Bardugo fan. I'm absolutely smitten with her writing. However, I have heard that Ninth House is like nothing she's written before. While it is written in her normal style, it is her debut adult novel, and it follows a girl named Alex who is involved in some sort of unsolved homicide. Now, she is given a chance to start over. However, there is a catch in her starting over, as she must infiltrate this university's elite society, and with that, all of the dark things that come with that society. So far, I have heard trigger warnings for rape and sexual assault, drug abuse. If you have a trigger for cults, I believe that that is definitely represented here, as well as suicide. I did look further into the suicide trigger, as that is a trigger for me. It was told to me that this suicide is ritualistic, having to do with the cult and not depression, so keep that in mind. I am going to wait actually to read this until until the winter, but it is coming out in fall, and I am very excited for it. So we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo coming out on October 8th. Then right around the corner on October 15th, we have Mooncakes. Mooncakes is a graphic novel by Wendy Xu. I really hope to pick this one up as soon as it comes out. It's described as a story of love, demons, witchcraft, and family. Those are all things I definitely enjoy. We have our main character, who is a teenage witch working at her grandmother's bookshop, and one night she stumbles across her childhood crush who happens to be battling a horse demon. I don't know exactly where the story goes from there. I've heard that the romance is adorable and very present in some sort of quest that these two find together. And again, Mooncakes comes out on October 15th. Now, my largest date that books are coming out is November 5th. I don't know if November 5th is like a thing with books, but I have 4 books coming out on November 5th. So if you know any reason why that happens to be, let me know in the comments below, because as I was listing these off, I kept getting November 5th releases and I was like, why is that day special? So if this is some sort of weird marketing strategy, I am incredibly curious. First up on November 5th is Guinevere's Deception by Kiersten White. Arthurian legend is my bread and butter. If I was to choose my favorite classic tale, it would be the story of King Arthur and his knights of Camelot, Guinevere and Lancelot. You name it, I'm into it if it's Arthurian legend. So when Guinevere's Deception was announced, I was instantly interested, and once I found out a little bit more about it, I became even more excited. So Guinevere's Deception follows Guinevere, of course, marrying King Arthur. However, she's not just there to be his wife, she is placed next to him as his protector. More so, there's a little bit more to Guinevere this time around, as she is not who she says she is. Her name is not her own, and neither is her identity. So we're going to find out exactly what is going on with this Arthurian legend twist in Guinevere's Deception, and I am heavily anticipating it. If I was to put these in order for books that I'm most anticipating, this would definitely be my #1 slot, and that is Call Down the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater. So Maggie has created my perfect book. I love the Raven Cycle series with my whole heart. I'm completely riveted with Maggie Stiefvater's writing. Ronan, who is our main character in this story, is my favorite character from the Raven Cycle series. Maggie knew exactly what she was doing, and honestly, while I did read the synopsis, I don't want to give anything away, as many people have not read the Raven Cycle series, and there's some spoilery stuff that goes on. So the Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater is going to be about a band of kids who journey out to find an old dead Welsh king. There is a magical realism element in here that I absolutely love. The way that all these characters bond together is completely beautiful, so I highly recommend you pick up the Raven Cycle series in anticipation for Call Down the Hawk, because you will not be disappointed. And if you are, we just have different reading tastes, and I don't know what to tell you. Then another highly anticipated release is the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Young, and that is Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Young. So obviously I already have an ARC copy of this book, but there's so many things that do change from ARC to final copy that I, of course, can't wait to pick it up and better support Natasha's work. So far, I'm absolutely loving Girls of Storm and Shadow. It picks up right after Girls of Paper and Fire. You have Lei, who is a paper cast human in a world filled with demons and half-demons, your steel cast and your moon cast. Lei is taken to the capital to be the concubine to the Demon King. However, Lei has different intentions for how her life is going to go, and once there, she ends up sparking a love interest with a fellow concubine, and together they try and take down the Demon King. I will not give any spoilers for that synopsis, and I will just say that Storm and Shadow picks up right where Girls of Paper and Fire leaves off, and Lei has quite a bit of work to do before her adventures are over. Alright, we're finally leaving November 5th and headed to November 12th. On November 12th, I have Queen of the Conquered by Kaysen Callender, and this book sounds absolutely amazing. This is my third take trying to explain the plot, so I am going to just read the synopsis. I'm sorry that I suck, but here we go. An ambitious young woman with the power to control minds seeks vengeance against the royals who murdered her family in a Caribbean-inspired fantasy world embedded with colonial oppression. Sigourney Rose is the only surviving daughter of a noble lineage on an island of Hans Lolik, which I am sure I am mispronouncing. When she was a child, her family was murdered by the island's colonizers who have massacred and enslaved generations of her people, and now Sigourney is ready to enact her revenge. This sounds badass. I'm ready for it. I've heard from people who have read an advanced reader's copy of this arc that this book is quite dark, so keep keep that in mind. While I don't have trigger warnings yet, I will make sure I keep you up to date, but it sounds absolutely fantastic. Plus the cover is freaking beautiful. Then we are headed into December, and yes, December is part of fall. I'm sorry, I didn't make the rules. It's true. December, especially December 3rd, is part of fall, and that is when Children of Virtue and Vengeance comes out. I have been waiting for Children of Virtue and Vengeance for so long. I know you probably have too, and it's finally coming out. I cannot believe I've been able to survive this long without getting to know more about what is happening in this book. Because it is a sequel, I of course will not give spoilers. I will instead just say Children of Virtue and Vengeance is the sequel to Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and Children of Blood and Bone was a roller coaster of action and awesomeness. I plan on rereading this book before the next one comes out. I do have a trigger warning at the beginning of this book for hangings that I will be skipping. However, apart from that, you get really cool battle scenes and a romance that is incredibly reminiscent of Katara and Zuko's potential romance from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Zaylee is a magi in the land of Orisha. Within Orisha, magic used to exist. Zaylee's people were once with amazing powers, and due to an envious monarch, their powers are stripped from them and they are left without magic in their world. Zaylee's powers are awakened after meeting a young princess, and hope is ignited in them trying to find out how to bring magic back to all of her people. Now, I really loved the character dynamics between all of these different characters. I very much so loved Zaylee, and I cannot wait until this story continues. The cliffhanger ending at the end of this book, I don't know how we've waited this long, but it's finally happening. Children of Virtue and Vengeance is coming out in December, and I'm just going to try and sleep and read all the way through fall in order to get to it. All right, and that is my most anticipated reads list for fall. What are you looking forward to? Are there any books on this list that you either were anticipating as well or didn't know existed? Go ahead and leave comments down below. And as always, I hope you're enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are. And until next time, bye! Does she battle against a tiger? Is she the tiger queen because she battles against a tiger? I can't even speak. That's how much I love this book. I have to actually take deep breaths in between. I'm lightheaded from speaking. That's ridiculous.